Oh, hello and welcome. Don't mind me just practicing my guitar because Mothhawk is amazing. God, I love that intro. Welcome to Let's Talk MetaZoo, though. My name is Turmentic. Over here, am I going to do it right? Yes, over here is my man, Mike CNO from TCG Island. I totally messed. We talked about a whole intro, how we are going to do stuff. Did. I totally I steamrolled right through it. Anyway,
at least you got the direction right. You got the direction right.
I kind of got it. I know. We keep talking about how we actually need to do like a rehearsal for it. And you know what? I kind of actually agree with you now. Anyway, like I said, my name is Turmentic. We are joined by the wonderful, the one and only Mr. Dean from MetaZoo Nation Australia. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
G'day, legends. Thanks for having me, boys. I'm glad we've got these recaps happening. I'm excited.
This is something that we've kind of been talking about for the last 2 months or so. Just at the end of the month, right at the beginning of the month, doing a full recap of everything that happened the previous month, kind of just trying to keep everybody up to speed, up to date on exactly what's going on, what's dropped, things like that. Really excited to actually to get through this because there was a lot that really went on in April and May. We're kind of going to talk a little bit about both months, to be honest with everybody. But yeah, there's a lot that went on. So we're going to do this, like I said, probably once a month, probably towards the end, right at the beginning of each month. And while we're getting through all of the topics and stuff, if there's questions you have, feel free to leave them up there. If there's something that we don't talk about that you want to actually express, leave a comment, let us know. Yeah, let's just jump right in. What's the first thing we're talking about, gentlemen?
Well, now we're the hat boys.
We've all got hey, look at that.
Hey, like Compton George said I need a hat, so there you go, bro. Now we
love it. I mean, I think the biggest topic is probably native, right? Because that was April and May. That was both. It was huge. And I mean, Sino got his in April. We got ours in May. It's been a long release, but yeah, Sino, I mean, were you the first partner that had native in hand?
Very first, yep.
Yeah. You actually, I think, the first one that was allowed to go live and rip it too. And at first it was only just to show the product, but then they were like, nope, let it go.
Yeah. No,
I remember that. Was that when we had the box battle?
Yeah, that was back.
That was that same week, but it wasn't that. No, that was like 3 days after he had started streaming.
I was self-ripping at first. So I was just opening boxes, and it was crazy because I had just gotten for some reason, I guess I had just hit a case that was kind of Fusion Aura shy a little bit, and then so I was thinking I was like, okay, maybe Fusion Auras are going to be pretty rare. Then I opened the next master case, and it was like 2 in every box, boom, 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 coming out like crazy, and players were happy, collectors were happy, and it was beautiful.
I remember that, actually. I remember being in that live, and I was saying maybe Fusion Auras are in like God packs, and you hit a God pack and you hit them all. Yep. How wrong was I? Thankfully, because that would have been harder. So
I mean, I still say they're still kind of hard to hit, especially depending on how many you want to play in an actual spell book. I mean, because you can have as many as you want in there. So I don't know. I still see them, even though they are way, because I'll be honest, those first 9 boxes you opened up, Mike, I was scared, man, because it was those. Looking back now, those were definitely the roughest boxes that I've actually seen native-wise across the board.
I mean, yeah.
But I'm actually kind of glad there's a nice median, I feel, with the Fusion Aura pull rates. Like, there's not too many of them, but they do show up enough to where they aren't super, super expensive. but they're still actually maintaining that value. Like, I mean, we're here a month and a half, 2 months after native release, and Fusion Auras are still maintaining that $60 to $120 range, which is awesome in my opinion.
You would have to say now, based on what we know, it's average one per box, like on average, because you get boxes that have 3, 4, or 5, and then you have boxes that have none. So you could safely say it's average one Fusion Aura per box. Like if you buy 2 boxes, you're definitely hitting a Fusion Aura.
I don't know. I honestly would still say it's probably 1 out of 3. I don't know out of like every other one, just because there's been a couple boxes that I've gotten where I've gotten like a native night. I've gotten one of the tribal 10. I've gotten one of the beasties.
Yeah.
Like that, I would definitely say you're guaranteed at least 1, if not 2, out of every other box. Fusions, though, I would honestly still say 1 out of 3. Now, if you pull 1, there is a good chance that you are going to get a second. I will say that they usually try to come in pairs, it seems like. That's only booster boxes, though. That isn't spellbooks, release event decks, or anything like that. But with booster boxes, it seems like if you get 1, you're going to get 2. Kind of how like totality duality was. Or neutrality totality, actually.
Neutrality totality, yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like if you got 1, then you would get another one somewhere in the box. It was honestly rare to only get 1 totality aura, I think.
Yeah.
Your spellbook was trash, Matt. I don't know about your boxes. I still feel bad about that spellbook.
Oh, Matty.
I'm so sorry.
I saw Matty's comment. I mean, he's right. I mean, me and Matt opened a bit of the earlier stuff, and we probably got the worser boxes. Like we took the shitty boxes, and then everybody else seemed to have all the good boxes. It's just it's true random. That's what it is. I think the pull rates are back. Well, not back to where they should be. I reckon they're the best they've probably ever been, because across every single SKU that I've opened, release decks, booster boxes, spell books, blister packs, and even my favorite, the theme decks, I've been hitting cards out of every single SKU, which is just awesome.
The spell books, particularly, I want to talk about the spell books, because this is the first time I feel that the spell books have been like on point, because I've got the first spell book I opened, I had 7 full hollows in, which in a spell book is like unheard of.
Yeah, especially if you go back to CN1 spell books, right?
Oh,
so like this is the first time I feel like the spell books have the best ratio out of any of the other sets that they've actually done. And there are still those outliers, though, where you only would get like 1 or 2 full hollows,
like Matt.
Like not every spellbook is going to actually hold a fusion or one of the tribal 10. But I mean, just using some of the spellbooks that we've opened up on Whatnot. Oh, I mean, we opened up 4 the other night, and out of the 4, 2 of the spellbooks each had 2 fusion auras in them. Like, I know that one of the ones that I've opened, I've only actually pulled, I think, 2 of the tribal 10 out of spellbooks for myself personally. But the full hollow ratio, though, to reverse hollow has been the best I feel that it's ever been.
I personally think that the second wave hit harder than the first wave. Like out of even the first wave was still hitting, but dude, when that next wave came through and everybody was cracking boxes, I remember it was crazy. It was crazy to see somebody get 3 fusion ores in a box. But when the second wave came, it seemed like there was a lot of 3 fusion ores with an Actena or some other native or some other tribal 10. So, and I just remember seeing those. I'm like, God, these boxes are like way crazier, man. So I felt like second wave was better. I don't know if there's any accuracy to that, but it's just the way
I'm not sure,
because booster box wise, but I didn't really see that much of a difference between spellbooks from wave 1 and wave 2.
Yeah. Because I didn't get like the initial wave 1, but then I got a little portion in between wave 1 and wave 2, if that makes sense. I was like wave 1.5 when I got my first stuff.
Yeah.
And those release event boxes and spellbooks were hitting. We pulled 4 Piazza birds on our first stream. They were just popping out. Like we couldn't stop. And then but I think you're right. I feel like the second wave, at least the booster boxes and the Fusion Aura account, it just seemed higher. Now, whether that is like what Maddie's saying, more people were opening at that point, so you saw more hits. I don't know. My experience with the first booster box I opened compared to the last booster box I opened were totally different.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I think there's definitely been more eyes on second wave native than there were on first wave, because everybody saw what came from the first wave, like right around the time of the tower and everything like that. And ever since then, people have been basically trying to get those cards. And so, I mean, that's why that's why most of wave 1 was completely sold out before wave 2 actually hit. And that was a solid week or two before wave 2 actually hit. So I think that, like Matt's right. I think there are more people opening native now. And I mean, it's kind of like what I always say, like the more people you have that are opening the stuff, the more we're going to actually see those awesome hits. Because again, the Fusion Auras particularly are still harder to hit, but they're not impossible to hit. Like I feel way better. I mean, but that's the other thing too, though, is that there are 9 of them. So just because you hit one doesn't mean it's going to be the one you need or the one you want. So that's something else too to kind of take into consider when you actually think about like the hit ratio when it comes to the Fusion.
I've noticed that like the Sylvan, the Forest Fusion Aura, that one seems to be a little bit harder to hit for some reason. Well, at least personally for me, the Rainbow Quartz, that comes out quite a bit. I've had quite a few of those come out.
See, I've had the exact opposite experience to that. Of Rainbow Quartz is the one I was going to say was the hardest. That was the last one I needed.
Oh, wow. Dang, I mean, I don't know how many I've pulled, but I've got quite a few at PSA right now. So I don't, but again, it's just like you're saying that since there's 9 of them, so, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the same pull rate as a Prism Aura, except there's 9, right? Mm-hmm. So you got half the print run of Wilderness with the same pull rate of Prism, except you've got 9 of those. So that's why you're going to have it, right? That's the pull rates on them. That's what I
would believe. That would make sense, yeah.
That's what I remember them saying.
It's funny because I would actually counter with you guys. I've actually pulled more of the Earth-Water fusions than anything else.
The dose. People love that one.
I would say, honestly, though, the one that I've seen the most of out of everywhere would be the Frost one.
Yeah.
That was the first one hands down seems to be the most common, or at least the one that's been pulled the most so far.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It seems like, everybody's had different experiences, which is great. This is why, the 3 of us, I thought, would sit together because we've all had different experiences, different sides of the planet and the country.
I will say, though, from observations that Wendigo and the Uctenna actually seem to be harder to pull, in my opinion, than the Pisol bird.
Yeah, I never pulled an Uctenna and only pulled 1 Wendigo. I pulled 4 Piazza birds, though.
And just out of the booster boxes I've ripped at the shop and the booster boxes I've ripped personally, I've pulled 1 Uctenna, 2 Wendigos, but at least 4 or 5 Pisol birds.
That's good.
And it's funny thing, none of the birds have been for me either. Like that's the bad thing. Like I need.
You pulled a secret rare too. Well, Jared did.
Yeah, no.
Jared
did technically. That's right. Man, second one in the shop now. But I honestly would say Wendigo, and more the Uctenna than anything else. I don't know. Those seem to be kind of like the harder ones to pull in my opinion than Pisol.
Yeah, it's definitely taken the number 1 spot set wise though for me overall.
Oh,
I think the product experience, I think the color of the cards, I think the artwork, and I think the playability as well has just nailed it. Like every other set has, a certain spot and something I love about it, but overall, this has been the one I've really enjoyed the most. It's hit a lot of boxes.
Honestly, Matt actually asked ahead of seeing one, and I would say that, I mean, I would almost actually say that I love Cryptid Nation 1. Nightfall is my favorite set, but Native, there's something actually, like you said, there's something about the colors. There's something about actually like the cryptids themselves, the information, the story that I can't stop opening Native. It's the first set where I'm literally selling Pokemon singles in order to buy booster boxes. Like I like stuff that I've been holding on to for a while. I'm literally selling it in order to just buy more to open. Like, and this is the first set that I've really, like, more than Cryptid Nation 1. I never sold Pokemon singles in order to actually buy CN1 boxes. Like, I'm not entirely sure what it is about Native, but there's something about it. I don't know. I love how focused it is on deities, and how it honestly seemed to it was their attempt, in my opinion, to really try to change the meta up a little bit. And it was the thought that there are no beastie aliens in Native that gave me that idea. Like, if you actually go to the MetaZoo Play Network and go to Seance and then type, or basically go to the tribe alien and look, there's none in it. Sorry, not Seance, Native. Sorry, there are no beastie aliens in Native. And so they were really trying to, I don't know, like, help out other tribes, like giants specifically. I know bears and wolves got a lot of loves in there. Deities, like, they made deities. Actually, there were some deities before, but they actually made that tribe like very relevant. Like, so I don't know. This is the first time I've actually experienced a set as an MZO, as someone who actually fully, like, I feel like I got a good handle on the game. And so that's been really kind of cool to actually look at Native through those eyes of someone who actually plays the game versus somebody who just collects or covers the lore and stuff, because there's so much really awesome versatility with some of these cards.
Yeah. It's like my favorite card from the whole set is Kumagwe, the Copper Maker. I love that card. Like, it went straight into my deck. I was like, yep, perfect. This is just juicing up my already juicy water deck. It's just too good. I love it. I love it when R&D slide those sneaky little cards in there. Little silver rare. Yep, perfect. Thank you. I'll take that.
Well, even just down to how you could use a Gojo Sojo, the big star, and Griddle Greaser Pete. Because you could use Griddle Greaser Pete in order to put the burn tokens, and then you could use Gojo Sojo's ability to do the 30 damage plus remove the tokens if there's 7 or more on them. Like, there's, like I said, there's just a lot. I really like how some of the cards complement some of the older stuff.
R&D do a good job. They do a really,
I'm
really
blown
good job.
away with that, man. Like, I truly am.
Yeah.
And you can tell it's only getting better and better, and they're putting more thought into it as each set comes along too.
I am interested to see, though, like, what's going to be put on the reserved list. Because I don't know that have they updated the reserve list for Seance?
No, I'm assuming they will now, because they've done the big box and they've done Revive. And we'll cover that later, because I think they made the right decision holding off, because it was so hard to get a Possessed Aura straight from the original set, and everybody's going to need it. So, but yeah, I'm assuming that'll probably come soon, unless they're sort of waiting, to do Native at the same time, because I don't think they need to, say if you look at Native Revive, they're not going to have to put Fusion Aura boards in there. You know what I mean? It's you don't necessarily need to get, and there's 9 of them, right? You can focus that more around like the beasties of Native.
Do it around like the Tribal 10 or something like that, or something more. Do it around the Giant Zavowitz board would be really cool. I'd actually love it.
Kumagwe. Do a Kumagwe board.
Oh, dude, yeah. A Gojo Sojo, the big star. I mean, like, I keep looking at it. Sorry, this is one of my favorite cards in Native. It's such a, like we said, the colors and everything about it. Like, I don't know. I don't remember the other sets actually exciting me as much as Native seems to have excited me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, there's just something about it, about the beasties, about the lore to it and everything like that. I don't know. I love it.
Yeah. Has there been anything lore-wise from Native that's like really jumped out at you, Rob?
Well, there's a section in the song that actually talks about how fusion auras are the key. And I, without going too much into it, because I swear I'm gonna get that timeline video out. I actually finished recording the second language in UFO tonight, and then I have 2 more that I have to do, and then after that, timeline video.
We're all
But
waiting for it.
dude, I've been promising it for months now. I really have. But I think Native is about Sam basically learning how to control 2 auras at one time. Because we don't really have much in the story talking about casters who are literally like, normally what it is like a caster does something and then a caster will do something else. And what the fusion aura in my head kind of sounds like is you're taking, again, like earth and water, and you're combining those auras to form something new. It's still earth and water aura, but it's a combination of the two. And so I think this is Sam learning how to fuse auras together in order to try to have something he can use in the big battle that's about to take place during war. This is all about him getting stronger for preparation of war. I feel like, say, at the end of Seance, he was running away from whatever it was. I'll go, like I said, go into more detail later about that. But Native is about him leveling up, powering up in order to go back to actually finish what started in Seance.
Interesting.
So
I can't wait till the book comes
timeline
out.
video.
Dude, the book. The book. I can't wait for the book. The other thing too you have to remember as well is that some of these beasties have popped up before, and I talk about this actually in this second language video. Like the Uctena, for example. The Uctena is actually in 2 cards in UFO. We didn't know what it was at the time when UFO came out, but it's in 2 cards. I mean, the same way that it looks actually in Native, that was there. So I think, I don't know. I'm interested to see what Native brings storyline wise. I think Native is going to be very similar though to like Wilderness. I think Wilderness is literally about Sam learning how to become a caster in essence. So yeah, same thing with Ogopogo and UFO. You're completely right, Matt. So, and I really love how they do that too, where they'll
I do
way ahead of time. Like my favorite one is actually the orbs. The orbs were actually teased at Caster's Cup, but they were actually used in the UFO set.
Here's a thought though, like, you know, when you see, I do wonder if these beasties are not necessarily teased in a previous set for a storyline, or if it was something to do with R&D, and maybe they're like, this beastie was meant to be in UFO, but the way the card plays or what we're trying to do with it is probably going to suit better for the next set, and that's why it's not necessarily in that set and it's in the
sometimes. But from what I've gathered, and Mike, I don't know, back me up, I guess, with this, it seems like, out of talking with some of the artists, some of the cards, they're directed to do certain things. Like they'll do the art, and then Mike or Andy will be like, "Hey, add this to this." Like a good example, and this is actually, I don't know how many people actually know this, but a good example is Christmas Rose. Like she was asked to actually add Galawakis to it, so they do that sometimes, and it's both of it actually. One of them to actually give hints and clues to what the story is, but also to throw us off sometimes, so we think we know what it is, and it has like, oh no, that's just because I really liked it. But the more, especially after talking with Chris, like there's a lot of communication going on back and forth between Mike and Andy and all of the artists, and they are given a lot of liberties, like with Native, like they were given a lot of liberties with the color, with like the saturation, the hue, but they were still kind of told, okay, this needs to be particular like this, just because they are very, very, like when Chris was talking about the Atom card, for example, like Mike and him went back and forth on the Atom card because Mike wanted it a specific way. So I don't know. I feel like some of those, like the Uctena, they are put there on purpose. So later on, when other stuff is revealed, we're like, oh snap! What about that? Like that's I don't know. At least
wasn't the full moon Terra? Wasn't that didn't that have Ravenmocker in it?
Yep, that had Ravenmocker on it.
Yep.
Yep. Grindle asked a really good question though. Which remember that question, Grindle, because we should talk about it when we get to the top stuff because we're going to talk about tops. Tuffy was talking about fusions being on the reserved list too. I don't think there's going to be a Water Earth one that's reprinted. I believe it's the next time we actually get fusion auras, it's only going to be 8. That Mike said that originally when he explained it, where every time they come out, it's going to be one less. Which whatever that last set is, point. Yeah, whatever that last set is for that last fusion aura is going to be ridiculous to get that one, I bet. But yeah, like we'll get them in 7 Cs, and then we probably won't get another set of fusion auras until maybe Chibi or Digi. Digi would be cool if they did lightning ones. Just speculating in the future, that'd be kind of cool.
I guess it just depends on what the set sizes look like, because obviously Native having 9 fusion auras has made it the largest set size of any set previous. It's like 174, I think. Is it 174?
Yeah, 174.
Yeah. So, it'll I think that's when they'll work them in, which is probably why they're not doing it in War, because we know that set's bringing back a lot of Cryptid Nation base set and Nightfall beasties, so it's going to be stacked as it is. Yeah, you can't slide another 8 fusion auras in there.
Well, and if they actually were to put the fusion auras and release them one like that, one after another set, I don't know. I like the idea of them staggering them like a couple sets out, just because like introducing them all at once would 100% shake up the meta. And this way they can still keep kind of control over the meta of the game in essence, and slowly introduce the other fusion auras to where it doesn't destabilize the whole thing automatically, and then it has to kind of reshuffle. Because you have to imagine, if they introduced every single fusion aura right now, it would drastically change how the game operates.
Yeah, I'd love some Dark Water ones.
Oh my god, it would drastically change how everything works. So I like the idea of them slowly doing it over the course of like 6 months to a year, things like that. Like, smart move.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't speak enough about Native. Like I can't think of anything else to say actually in regards to Native except for just well done. It's quickly becoming
They've killed it.
Sets.
They've killed it, and it's quickly selling out. Like even down here in Australia, there's only a couple of places that have like limited sort of stuff left. Like I was out day one, basically. I had nothing else to give, so it's been snapped up quick. And I think even in the US, I mean, I don't know about you, Sino, but I don't see heaps of it around, like unless it's on Whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yep. No, it went quick. It went quick. So I actually was all like, I wish I would have doubled my order size, and then but hold on. But we got Trading Card Vault wanting to know if Dean has a pet drop bear.
No, because it killed me, bro. They're crazy. They're legit. They're nuts. I've sent you guys the video. There's a video of like these family at like a tourist park, and this koala or a drop bear runs across the ground and grabs his toddler and tries to like tackle it and take it down. Yeah, I've shown you that. They're legit. They're real. They exist. Alan would believe me.
Drop bears are real.
Yeah.
That's exactly how we would say it, just like that.
You got to have a welcome to Australia, and then I'm not going to say the rest. You got to have one of those.
Oh god.
But I guess in that little window of first wave and second wave of Native, we were blessed with Topps Chrome.
Yes. Oh my god.
Which
was
huge.
That was wild.
I have not.
It still is.
Yeah. If I
Yeah.
can find it, I'm still opening it. Like, I have never once ever cared about any sort of Topps Chrome product. Like, even Pokemon. Like, I'll watch the breaks; they're kind of cool. But like, I'm not like, oh, I need that. I don't know what it is about the MetaZoo Chrome, but I cannot get enough of it. Like, I can't. Like, I'm literally staring at it right here. It's on my desk.
Well, I mean, if you really think about it, the first Topps Chrome, people still that was a pretty hype thing when it first came out and stuff like that. But then, the new product, certain things can arise, and, some of it ended up being to where, it kind of died out fairly quickly, but it seemed like the new Topps Chrome, they had gotten rid of any issues that they had with previous drops. So in that aspect, I feel like everybody's more comfortable purchasing it, but it's Topps Chrome. So, and you've got people that just collect Topps Chrome, right? So now it's opening up the market. Like, I mean, Emilio, the guy that pulled the first moth, the first Superfractor, sports card guy, used to collect MetaZoo back when CN1 first came out. And then he said when pack prices got too high, he stopped collecting it because he couldn't afford to do sports and MetaZoo at the same time. So he went back to sports. Then randomly, when he was at his LGS, he saw Chrome and bought Chrome, the first MetaZoo product he had bought since CN1.
Oh, wow.
Opened his first box and pulled the freaking Superfractor moth. And it was
always the way.
And he just commented in a group, maybe I think it was like a week or two ago, and somebody saw him comment, and they're like, "Emilio, are you collecting MetaZoo again now that you pulled that moth?" And his comment was, "I haven't been the same since I pulled that moth." So he's right back, man. But that's the thing. It's like you see, there's a lot of people posting stuff up that are saying, "I don't know what this goes for. I collect sports. I collect this. I collect that." Chrome hit a wide audience, still is, but
it just looks so good.
All over Whatnot, all sorts of different streams, all sorts of different tags and everything. Like, it was kind of ridiculous how many people still, like Dean was just saying, how many people are still actually ripping that on Whatnot. I mean, hell, I was actually using it as bounties the other last week on Whatnot, just because it's that desirable. I cannot get enough of the Topps Chrome. I can't.
I've got a bunch on the way down under again because it just disappears. It just runs. It's just gone. Every time I've gone live, I've had a little bit, and it's always my product. And everybody's like, no, crack it open. Let's sell some packs. I'm like, oh man, that's. So I got more. We'll see how we go. But it's been fun. I didn't hit anything crazy big myself. Did you guys?
I've hit a couple things. The one actually, this is probably one of my favorite cards in my collection. I still have to figure. I think I'm going to trade the out of 25 that I pulled out of my box. But this is my favorite moment in the MetaZoo comic. It's when Sam actually contracts Dingbell for the first time. My boss Jared, he gave me the box because we were only able to get one box from our distributor, mind you. Okay, one box from our distributor, and he gave it to me to rip on the channel. We keep it. He was going to use all the cards for other stuff. I just wanted the content, and I pulled that on there. And I bought it. We were able to get 2 more boxes 2 weeks ago, and I actually pulled the out of 25 Iceman. So I'm probably going to give him this and then one of the other random out of 99s for that contracted, because I need to send this to you, Mike, to get graded, because this is, like I said, this is one of the best moments in MetaZoo lore, in my opinion. It's amazing. But I don't know, maybe I'm jaded because almost every single box, or whether it's a hobby box or whether it was the couple blasters that my buddy Ryan sent me, I was able to pull some sort of serialized card. I didn't get anything crazy like a 5 or a 1 of 1 or anything like that. But I mean, I pulled on average at least 1 out of 99 per hobby box. And I know that's not average. I know a lot of people opened up hobby box after hobby box and didn't get anything. The other reason why, though, I think I'm kind of obsessed with Chrome is it actually had some implications to MetaZoo lore proper. The two big ones is what Grindel was talking about Ben B. That's the first time we'd ever heard about Ben B, who Ben B was. I've kind of come to the conclusion that I think Ben B is Benjamin Bunyan, Paul Bunyan's grandson. Because Paul Bunyan did have a brother, Paul Bunyan did have a son, but neither of those two actually were named Ben. So I'm thinking that this is Ben's either or Paul Bunyan's grandson or like nephew. We'll see what he actually does in the storyline. Kind of maybe like same thing. Like we don't really know what Johnny Appleseed does in the storyline, but Johnny Appleseed shows up so many times on so many cards that he has to have something to do with the storyline. The other really big one, and this is almost bigger in my opinion than Ben, is the Flatwoods versus Loveland Frogman battle card. Because according to the lore from the comic, Love cannot attack another beastie. That's why he needs Sam's help in chapter 5 and 6 to attack Orange Eyes, is because he can't directly attack Orange Eyes. He can't directly attack a beastie. That's part of his curse. And if he's directly in conflict fighting Flatwoods Monster, then that means that Flatwoods Monster isn't a cryptid like we would normally think. It isn't a normal beastie. It's an actual alien caster. Flatwoods Monster is no different than a human. And that's huge because we've never talked about that before. We've never talked about aliens actually being casters. And I've talked a little bit about it off and on the past couple of weeks, but that's huge to me because that makes us reevaluate everything we thought we knew.
We were just talking yesterday, and I pointed out something about the UFO and how I think that's all starting to make.
Yeah, earlier today when we were talking, I told you, about the whole thing about the Flatwoods and Loveland Frog. That's what I'm saying. Like that's huge. I feel because we've always assumed that all of these creatures, all of these things that aren't human. They can't do what humans do. Like we know that certain beasties can cast magic on one aura type because that's the aura type that they actually have. But imagine a Flatwoods Monster. Like for all we know, the UFO spellbook is Flatwoods spellbook. So yeah, I mean, I honestly, I really feel that beasties are aliens, even though they're beastie aliens. That doesn't stop them from being a beastie alien caster.
I do know that somebody asked who Ben B was, and basically the response that was given was the book will clear a lot of things up.
Yes, I love it.
Bring on the book.
Love it.
We had a book update. Was there a book update in the AMA?
There was not. And Matt, yes, even though Flatwoods Monster card says it is a beastie alien, that still would not negate the fact that it could still be a beastie alien caster. Because you have to think of it as we're looking at it as humans. We're like, we don't know what these creatures are capable of. But if they're able to travel through space, what would stop? If they're able to use element 115 in order to actually power their ship, which is a magical rock, space rock in essence, what's stopping them from being able to cast magic? I mean, like I don't know. I really, really, really feel that. I mean, this opens it up. Flatwoods, potentially the Greys, potentially Pascagoula aliens, UFO, like. I don't know. It's a very interesting thing to think about, like an alien caster. Justice, that video will be out hopefully tomorrow. I recorded it today before the live stream because I think I found the second language in UFO.
I'm surprised with all the one of ones back on Topps Chrome.
Sorry,
'cause
yeah,
that's,
back on the
that's where we were. That we haven't seen the Mike one of one yet either. People forget there's still 10 grand, still big bounty out on that one. It's still out there. And then obviously the Cryptid Cam Mothman, which I wonder if that will be the most desired one-of-one Mothman to have, as opposed to the other two that have already been pulled.
I'll be honest, I like the Superfractor Cryptid Cams, man. Like I mean, they kind of are like, it's the same format as like a first sighting, roughly, right? It's like, so it's kind of coming off of that. So I mean, yeah, I personally prefer the Cryptid Cams. Like if you pull like a green or any color, still red's cool, but you know what I mean? If you pull a green, a gold, an orange, black, it just stands out. I don't know. I'm a huge fan of those.
They seem to get good money because I pulled a 99 Mothman one and I just gave it to Maddie. And then after I did that, I checked the recent solds and it was like 230, 250 USD. I was like,
oh, wow.
What card was that?
Good thing he's one of my buddies. Hey?
Yeah.
It was the 99 Mothman.
Oh, okay.
Cryptid Cam though. Cryptid Cam.
Yeah, that's oof.
Oh wow.
Damn. I wonder why Cryptid Cams are more desirable though.
They look cool. They look like a Polaroid,
Why did they only do one art on the Cryptid Cams? Or did they? How do we know they only did one art on the Cryptid Cam? Like I know that's what
we haven't seen any Cryptid Cams that have the original artwork.
That's true. Okay.
All of them have only been the new artwork.
That makes sense.
Oh, wasn't the didn't they reuse the same artwork from Topps before too in this one?
Yeah.
So okay, so that makes sense. So like there's
a mix.
This one then would be from original Topps. This one over here then would actually be from like new Topps, and so you have both artworks. Oh, okay, that's kind of cool. I never realized that. So you could have the Cryptid Cam first sighting, but then you could also have the Cryptid Cam of the new art as well. Huh, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the idea of sapphire potentially. It's expensive though. It's expensive.
What's the difference? What's the difference?
Well, it's just if you look at the cards, it's more like a cracked ice hollow. I think it's just like the next one up above Topps Chrome. Like you got Topps Chrome, Topps Sapphire, and I think there's something else above that, maybe like Diamond or Ruby or something like that. But it just I think because it's more desirable, it just costs more money.
Oof.
So they're talking about doing that as Nightfall.
Yep.
Which would be wild.
December, right?
Absolutely wild. I'll go broke chasing the Grim Reaper.
My God. Oh God. Yeah, don't tell me that.
It'd be crazy. But I mean, hey, it's one of those things that, it was said. We'll see. It may or may. We don't know when it's going to come, when it's going to pop up. Topps Chrome is still popping off right now anyway.
Well, I mean, look how long they actually had the Topps art too. I mean, I think wasn't Chris actually? Yeah, Chris was saying that was some of the first art that he actually did for MetaZoo back when he was first hired, and so they've had that art for so long. I mean, it might take them like a year and a half or so to get the Sapphire. But I mean, I don't know. Regardless of whether it comes out like in November or it comes out sometime next year, I still think that the hype for it will still be real because of how well received Chrome was. I haven't heard one negative thing honestly about Chrome.
No, I really haven't either. That's crazy.
I mean, how could you? What could you say about it?
It's crazy because
the cards are so good, so nice, such a good quality. Like, just put them away, hold on to them, do not dump them.
The Target Blasters, even too, only coming with only 4 packs. I've seen more people hit crazy stuff in those target blasters out of those 4 packs than out of a hobby box.
They were surprisingly hot.
Yeah, it's
over the
crazy.
top. Yeah, that was.
They're not supposed to be. I was told that blasters usually have like their own chase variant, i.e., the X Fractor that's in there. But it's usually the other way around.
So in the sports world, you got, if you're trying to get like your big one of ones and you're trying to get like, the top 5 QBs one of ones, you're not going to pull that in a freaking blaster from Target. Like, it's just not, you're going to get it from a hobby. So like you can get downtowns and like these other things that are big hits in retail, but you're not going to get like a gold vinyl one. You won't get the top chase out of a blaster. So yeah, you're 100% right on that, Dean. That's typically the way it is, but they ran this one.
I've seen almost more one of ones come from blasters than I have hobby boxes, which
the first one came from a hobby, and then the second, or the moth, the first moth came from hobby, second moth came from a blaster. Don't know where that third one, but yes, super fractors in general, dude, yeah, popping out blasters like crazy.
Crazy.
So. Blasters even still available, or are they all gone?
I think you could find them. I mean, they seem
like you can't order them online anymore.
No,
not like you could in the beginning. No, you could order them, but now you have to get like a email update of when it's restocked now.
Yeah. Last restock that I know of online, I think, was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I will say though, I thought it was funny. I don't know. I pointed this out before. I don't know why, but if you're Canadian, you actually have to do a math equation in order to submit for your free pack.
I saw this and I don't get it. Where did you put that? Did you put that on Instagram or something? I remember.
I talked about it during a couple of my lives, but yeah, it says potential Canadian winners will be required to first correctly answer the mathematical skill testing question. 17 times 4 plus 11 minus 25 equals. And no one can give me an answer on why Canadians have to answer the math question in order to get the free pack.
It's really like, it doesn't make.
It's so odd. It's so odd.
It's bizarre.
And like,
it's very bizarre.
I don't know. And so if somebody has an answer, please leave it in the comments below, because it has been bugging me for the last 2 months why Canadians have to answer this math question. Canadians don't even know why they have to answer the math question. Alan can't tell me why. Like, it makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that before in my life, ever. I mean,
I'm gonna figure that out, man. I'm telling that's really odd.
They're saying because of some lottery clause.
Said,
okay.
The maths thing has always been the case. Some sort of lottery clause, RE giveaways.
Okay, that makes sense. You gotta make sure they're not a bot to give it away or something.
Oh, okay.
So what is that? It's just like bots in Canada? Is that what they're saying, and nowhere else? I don't get it. Canada's just all bots. That's it.
But yeah, I will. Anybody that doesn't want their Topps Chrome, send it to me. I will open it for you. I have no problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Gala.
I can't get it.
Gala, Rob. We got to talk Gala.
Oh,
you're the only one out of the three of us that actually got to go.
Well, technically, you were there for a brief moment.
For a split second. It was a good time.
I was so glad that we still made that happen. Okay, so the gala. The gala was at Chelsea Hall, downtown New York. It was very loud because they had the music very, very, very loud, as you could tell if you watch any of the Instagram videos and such. But it was amazing to see all of the different secret rares. It was amazing to actually mingle with so many different casters. I was able to bring my wife with me, and she got to meet so many different people. Awesome. I got to talk and actually meet with people that I didn't get a chance to at Water Tower. Like Dave Regaldo, I got to talk to a lot of people that I had only ever talked to on the Discord or on Facebook or in the comment section, things like that. It was, I'll be honest with you, I geeked out a little bit because I got to actually watch the program that they were using for the eBay Live event. And if I can't, like, it's still in the whole testing phase and stuff like that. But once the whole eBay Live actual stuff goes through, more people can start using it. It's going to be phenomenal from what I actually saw behind the scenes, watching the laptop and the specs and such. I got to finally meet Mike, which was amazing. I unfortunately was outside when Dwayne, the artist, was actually there, so I didn't get a chance to actually meet Dwayne. But it was seeing the secret rares was amazing. The original artwork for the secret rares, because they actually had that on each, like one or two of them on each of the 4 pillars, and downstairs with lights shining on them. Those were actually really awesome.
Did they auction those off? Were
I don't.
they meant to auction those off, or?
I'm not sure. I don't think they were going to auction them off there. I think they will. I don't know. Don't quote me. I think the artwork is actually being auctioned off at some point, but it was not there.
That was a quote though. You just quoted that.
I'm not sure. I do know that all of the proceeds from the gala boxes themselves actually went to the Hopi Educational Foundation. I believe they raised something like $150,000 in a matter of 10 minutes or so from the gala boxes, which is insane. But yeah, I didn't get a chance to go to Salem. The only time I'd ever really gone to any sort of MetaZoo event had been at like a con or at the water tower or something like that. So it was really awesome to be surrounded, like I said, by so many amazing people in the community, and it being not an actual like tournament or not to be a con or anything like that. Like I could feel like there were more people who were relaxed. I felt like more people had fun than just meeting people for the first time at a tournament or something. It's just because, I mean, of course, not everyone was, but the majority of us were actually drinking. That's one of the reasons I didn't do a lot of filming of the event. But just because like I try to keep alcohol and stuff off the channel and everything like that. But it was a blast. It was really loud though. I'll be honest. Oh my God, it was so loud. That's the first thing that comes to my mind when I think about the gala. That and how spiffy everybody looked. I love how you even actually dressed up though in your suit. When I took you walking around, we took the picture on the red carpet and everything. Like that was.
No, it was good fun, man. It was good fun. You're right though. It was loud because I remember when you took me down inside. I was just like, I could not hear a thing.
Well, my phone didn't work either. I had no cell phone signal either, too. So, like, you come in and then it just glitches, and then it shows you something else real quick, and then it stops for like 10 seconds, and it shows you something else real quick, and it works for about 5 seconds, and it glitches out again. Like, I went back and watched it. It was like, oh my God, I need Wi-Fi next time if I do this.
Was it a late night with the Earth Tower being the next day, or did you wrap it up pretty early?
Well, the gala was supposed to go till about 2 a.m. They started kind of closing things down though around like I want to say 11:30 or so, which was smart because after Mike came in, Mike actually gave a little speech. They did the eBay Live event. They introduced Dwayne, and then they opened. Then they opened the bar. And it was probably, in my opinion, it was smart to end it a little early, especially with Earth Tower being the next day, because it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I will say that.
I can see what you're trying to do here.
I love cool. One of my favorite 2 memories of the entire night are dancing with Chelsea. Because like we were actually like they were playing some music or whatever, and so like nobody was on the dance floor because there was a small little dance floor, and so like I literally took Chelsea out there and I swung her around. We were actually dancing and doing some fun stuff, nice little circle, whatever.
That's awesome.
I don't have any footage of it though, so if anybody watching just has footage of me dancing at the gala, send it my way, please. My second favorite story is I go outside to actually smoke a cigarette, and I start talking to some people who are standing out there. And I have a conversation with them for about a solid 5, almost 10 minutes before I actually realize that it's Michael, Isaac, and Afton. Proceed to immediately lose my mind because like it's Michael, Afton, and Isaac. and then hang out with them for like the next like 20, 25 minutes or so outside, just talking like all sorts of different stuff. But yeah, I had never seen them before, just because like I had like the only artists I'd met at that point were Kelsey and Jet, because Jet goes to like everything, and I got to see her like 3 or 4 times last year. And I saw Kelsey at Water Tower, and so like I'd never seen her before.
You weren't
amazing.
You weren't at Casters Cup last year?
No, I didn't. When Casters Cup was going on is when I first started. Like I had just finished the first comic video.
Right.
That's all I had at that point on the channel were the 3 comic video, and then the 4th one finishing up chapter 1.
Mm-hmm.
That was still very, very new to the content creation world. And I had no intention I didn't want to learn how to play. I just wanted to collect the cards. I mean, Mike will tell you, like, I was just a collector. I didn't want to learn how to play or anything like that. And then it was actually meeting Dylan at Collecticon in Charlotte, Dylan Tran, that really got me interested in wanting to learn how to play the game. And so thank you, Dylan, by the way.
Shout out Medikai.
But yeah, the gala was a blast. I don't know. Like I said, I wasn't sure what to expect because I had never gone to a non-tournament, non-con MetaZoo event. But it was amazing to see Ted. I got to hang out with Texas Ted for a long while. I love that man to death. And yeah, it was. As far as I could tell, everybody that was there had a lot of fun. Maybe a little too much fun. You could kind of see it the next morning. There was a lot of people walking around with coffee. But yeah, no, I would recommend though not to actually let's not have a release event right before the tower the next day.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it seemed to be okay though. It seemed like everybody, because I was watching obviously the Earth Tower on Twitch the following day, and I could see everybody there. It didn't look like anybody was dying with a hangover, so probably wasn't,
I did not see, and that is true. I did not see anybody the next day at Earth Tower that had any sort of hangover or was sick or anything like that. So that, like, hats off to the community for keeping it together, keeping it professional for the Earth Tower.
Well, hopefully I'll be at the gala next year, when and wherever that is.
I know that Mike was saying in the last MetaZoo hour that they don't have an idea of what it is exactly, but the event for War release is actually going to I think the money's going to go, it's going to go to one of the veteran programs here in the US. I'm not sure. I don't know if they named which one or whatnot, but they're actually, they're actually doing another fundraiser similar to what they did with Native when War releases, and it's actually going to go towards one of the veteran organizations here in the US. At least, I assume it's going to be in the US. It's just, he mentioned in the MetaZoo hour it was going to actually go to some sort of veterans organization.
Nice. Before we jump into Earth Tower, I can see Damo or Grendel's Gallery says, under Canadian law, giveaways cannot be based on pure luck and must have an element of skill, but an easy mathematical question satisfies. So
that's wild, man.
Hey.
That's wild.
Okay. Yeah,
so you can't just win.
You can't just win
something.
You can't.
Yeah, what the hell? That's
crazy. I've never.
No, you can't just win something. You got to have some skill.
So wait, are they actually just saying that Canadians in general are not lucky, so they're just making it even across the board?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's blown my mind.
Where is Alan when you need him?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, maybe Alan could explain it. Somebody tag Alan. Tell him he just pulled a 101. So we can figure it out.
That's great. But yeah, the gala was a blast. I had a lot of fun at the gala. Had a lot of fun.
What about Earth Tower? Because again, you were the only one of the three of us that were there. And did you play in the Earth Tower, or were you there you did play? All right, yeah. Yes. Give us your win-loss ratio.
Oh God, I did way worse at Earth Tower than I did Water. Water Tower, I did surprisingly well. I lost twice. and then tied. No, I lost once, but I tied twice. So it kept me out of 32. But with Earth, Earth was brutal. I actually I interviewed Sean McCalvey, Johnny Money Potion. I interviewed Hyperbole, and then I interviewed one of the guys from GG Unit. That I still have to put that together. But talking about the tower while we were at the tower, and it was surprisingly looking back over through all of it. Every single one of them named something different on what they thought the MVP or the overrated card was. And that kind of sums up Earth Tower, to be honest with you. There were a bunch of different combinations, in my opinion, strategies you could go in with, whether it was Sandworm, or sorry, Cement Worm lockdown, or you wanted to go more Giants, or you were trying to go with even like Fearsome Critters or something. Like, there's so many different ways that you could approach it. But for me personally, it always seemed that whenever the first Tenehine would come out, the person who went second, if they played two Tenehines and a Lightning in a Bottle, it was almost impossible to catch up at that point. As weird as that sounds, if they were able to somehow do that. And I don't know. It was just rough. It was really rough for me. There were a couple times where I was expecting to be able to get card draw, and I didn't get any of the card draw that I needed. Like, there was one specific game where all I needed was a Lightning in a Bottle, and I would have won. And I knew it was sitting right on top of my deck, but I couldn't draw a card in order to get it, and then I lost afterwards. A lot of slugfest back and forth, and it wasn't just like clean sweeps either. Like, it would be where I won one, they won one, then they would win the other, or they would win one, I would win one, then they would win the other. I think I ended the tower with 3 wins and 4 losses.
Yeah,
and it was way tougher and that was the other thing. I'd never really played that much with Earth per se, so I wasn't that familiar with it. And I tried to incorporate some of the native cards into the deck, which it was a solid deck, but it was one of those where I didn't get enough, like, because Mike was amazing. He had all his stuff. He opened up a bunch of it. He overnighted me a bunch of cards. I thought I was straight. I had like the Sylvan Earth Forest Aura. I was going to run Growth, all of this stuff. Even though he overnighted them to me 2 days before I was supposed to leave, they still didn't show up in time. Thankfully, John from Immortal Workshop was able to bring like 2 boosters up there with me, because again, us over at Super Galactic, we were one of the partners that didn't get wave 1 of natives, so I had no access to it, like from the shop. So thankfully, John actually brought 2 boosters up for me, and I opened them up, and I got all of the stuff that I needed minus the fusions, like Zavowitz, Giant's Blood, stuff like that, which was great, and it definitely helped. But not being able to be familiar with the cards definitely hurt my ability to play or to respond, if that makes sense. It's encouraged me to get better, more familiar with the cards now. But at the same time, though, like a lot of that stuff, we got to New York. My buddy Nate, or Slippy Napkin, showed up to the hotel. We opened up the booster boxes. We all got dressed, Nate, myself, and my wife, went to the gala, did the gala. We came back to the hotel and then spent 3 or 4 hours deck teching, went to sleep, woke up, went and did the tower. If I would have had more than just that little amount of time, I feel like I would have done better. But again, that was just because of circumstance. That was because of native being released the week before the tower. As much as I support the card, I don't know. I wish that, to be honest, I wish that they would have not allowed native in Earth Tower, because of not all the partners actually getting native. I understand why they did, and I still like I just explained, I still had access to it. I had to go through some more avenues in order to get it, but I still had access to it. but I feel it would have. I don't know. That's just my own personal opinion, though. But the tower went off without a hitch, though.
That brings me to my next question, because you went to the water and the earth tower, and then MetaZoo intentionally postponed the forest tower because they felt like they needed to, or they wanted to do something to improve the tower experience. You know, that's why they said they held off doing the forest tower. They're like, you know, we've done 2 now. We want to, you know, get it right for the next one, which is the flame tower in Dallas.
Yeah.
Was there anything missing from the earth or water tower you think that they actually, you know, like needed to sort of address and fix for the future towers?
Not that I can really think of. Not that wasn't just like anything you would consider like maybe a growing pain or first time round.
Yeah.
I mean, because anytime you do any sort of tournament or event or anything like that, there's always going to be 1 or 2 things that pop up. They're like, oh, I didn't think about that. But nothing that was like a huge, big red flag thinking about either of the 2 towers. It was, I will say that the check-in process at Earth was more streamlined than it was at Water Tower.
Which is to be expected, I guess. Second time around.
The way that they actually gave out the promos versus Water and Earth, they streamlined more at Earth Tower, which was nice. Even the awards presentation, because at Water Tower, they kind of had started doing the awards, but then stopped and then set up the Twitch stream and then did it all through Twitch. Where they actually had that center location you can see in my coverage video that was roped off for the 2 highlighted tables. That was roped off the entire day or 2 days of the tower. And they made that switch to the Twitch stream really seamlessly. I noticed this time. Logan and Emilio, they had great coverage both tournaments. I mean, I maybe might have more to do with maybe actually delivering on the prizes, because I did notice that the Water Tower prizes, I believe, were received probably about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and Earth Tower prize support, I believe, was received like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So maybe they sent them both out at once or so. I'm not entirely sure, but to be honest with you, I can't think of anything that really pops out at me on the something that would need to change with it. I personally really liked the deck check-in of Earth Tower versus Water Tower. It was really nervous. Like, I was really nervous, and with Water Tower checking my deck online, because like I'm literally writing it in. You have to put the correct abbreviation, like NF for Nightfall or CN1. Like, you have to put the correct abbreviation. You have to put what number the card is in the set and everything like that in that one line, how many of them that you're putting in your deck. That was really nerve-wracking to me. And I mean, that might be normal for people who are or more competitive, go to more competitions than I. But the way of uploading your deck at Earth Tower was way better, in my opinion. I love the new NPN, the new MetaZoo Play Network website. It's amazing. I use it more often than not, looking up cards, looking at things. It's amazing. Cannot stress that enough.
Shout out to the team at Cardio. They've absolutely smashed it.
But uploading it was way easier for Earth. I will say, not knowing you had to change the deck structure though from constructed to towers was a little confusing. But like, that makes sense now that I was explained exactly how to do that. I do, like I said though, I do like how the promos were given out at Earth Tower versus Water Tower, because at Earth Tower you got them when you were playing, or you got them in your bag, whereas at Water Tower they gave out a lot of them at Water Tower. And like, I noticed some people who were kind of trying to be sneaky, and like they would snag one and then go to the back of the line and they'd try to snag another one. And the way that they did it at Earth Tower kind of prevented any of that. But yeah, like I said, I can't think of anything that actually like screams needs to be fixed from any of the towers.
Yeah. Well, Flame Tower's next. When's that? Is that July?
It's the end of June. It's the end of June.
It's the end of June.
I think it's like the last weekend in June.
Yeah. Either of you going to that?
No, I can't.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to either. I'm hoping to
I
go
wish I
to
could.
Kansas City, but or the Lightning Tower, but yeah.
Kansas City. That's where I'm hoping. I should be like 95% sure I'm going to be in Kansas City. I'm not going to be playing, but I'll be at the Collecticon.
Yeah. I mean, I've got the time to go to Flame Tower, but my wife just won't let me.
You do
It's
it.
a
Oh
little
my god!
further for me to travel.
Please go
It's a
to
little further
Flame
for me to
and win
travel than you
Flame.
guys. Well, the deck I play right now is Flame Spirit. I can't stop. I can't put it down. I love it. It's very good.
Flame. That's gonna be a big. I feel like that's gonna be a huge event.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you, probably one of the bigger events of all of them so far.
I think so. I think with what they're working on and who they're doing it with, it'll be pretty crazy.
Ugh.
Yeah, Joker. I saw that they actually had taken the listing from the Kansas City Collecticon, but they haven't actually come out and said either one way or the other if they're changing the venue or anything like that. So I'm still assuming it's going to be Kansas City Collecticon for Lightning Tower until they actually make some sort of an announcement. But I did notice that though, if you go to the actual tower document, you'll actually see Lightning Tower is TBDA or TBA now. But Long Beach Collecticon though is still listed as Spirit. So that's one of the reasons why I don't know, until they make some sort of announcement. I'm kind of like, I don't know.
But
Exciting.
all right.
What about Bear Walker and UFO Revive Sounds? I feel like we had in that month of May, there was just like skateboards everywhere, native. We had so much stuff, just like bang, 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 bang. It was actually a really good experience. Like every other day, something else rocking up and coming. But Bear Walker was pretty wild. I still haven't redeemed my Grim board yet. I should probably do that.
I got my Piazza I got to redeem as well. That's yeah. No,
The problem I've got to redeem them all and get them sent to AK and then get them all boxed up again and then sent down here. Otherwise, it's like $100 a pop just to get them shipped down here.
Golly.
And I've got about six to 10. I'm trying to cull it down that I want to redeem. So I can't. I don't really want to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's brutal.
Golly, man. No, I like how they, I like how they rolled out the revive this year. And I know we've probably touched on it in like previous things, but again, this is a recap. So, but yeah, them switching, them actually stopping and not doing pre-orders on the revive and then just waiting and, getting the order or getting it in hand and ready to ship. And then I'm pretty sure that UFO, after it dropped, it shipped a week later. And then Seance, I believe, shipped like 2 days later, 3 days later.
Dude, instantly.
Like
I feel like Seance went up on the Friday for you guys. And then on the Saturday, some guy was on like Whatnot or posted on Facebook. I was like, what?
That's what I said. I was like, how does he already have his stuff? I was like, what the heck?
Yeah. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. But I mean, it's been good. I think both those revives. I think all revives have been amazing, right? But I think you hit the nail on the head, Sino. The fact that they're not pre-ordering because Wilderness was like a 6-month wait. The customer experience is better, so the product's received better. Because Wilderness Revive was, it was good. It was Wilderness Revive. It was what it was. But waiting 6 months for that just. It turns it off in the human brain. So being able to buy something and have it ship within a week or the next day, like Seance, it just gives a better customer experience overall, which means obviously it's going to be more popular.
Exactly. Yeah.
I can't speak about the skateboards because the only one I've ever bought is a Wilderness Revive board. I don't have Bear Walker or anything like that.
Yeah, it's because me and Sino do kick flips. We ride skateboards to work and stuff, don't we, bro?
I'm putting all my money in the tops and the PFP boxes, man. I will say though, going off of what you're saying about like the next day ship stuff, they did open up the PFP boxes on Friday, and I literally today got my 2 boxes.
Yeah,
Like
that's crazy.
That's
Super
crazy. That is the quickest I've ever gotten anything.
Did they all sell out to the NFT holders pretty quickly?
I think so. As far as I'm aware,
Yeah.
I snagged my 2, and then that was all. I was like, I can't do anything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Yeah.
the Bear Walk, just from somebody on the outside perspective, the Bear Walker boards look fantastic. I don't have enough room though to actually hang a skateboard. So I haven't even redeemed the awful Revive board that I have. The cards look beautiful. Man, yeah, that frog board though actually does look pretty sweet.
Isn't it interesting that it's a 10 card set and we only saw 5 though?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was interesting. Not really sure why or when we'll see the other 10.
Which set? UFO?
Bear Walker.
Bear Walker. See,
Yeah.
I don't know. I wanted to say that there was only 5. I remember seeing Bear Walker post on their Instagram saying the MetaZoo set is complete, and there were 5 boards laid out.
The 5 boards, yeah, I saw that too. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
but I mean, there was more cards teased. You can see them online, and there's obviously numbered to 10 anyway in those cards. So hopefully it means that, there's a Bear Walker 2.0 and it's the other half of that set. And we can finish it off down the line.
Same thing with UFO Revive. 10 card set, but we've only seen 8. So that's why everybody said, oh, if we would have seen Men in Black already, it would have already came out. I don't. It could have the rarity of a secret rare. I mean, it could be.
It could be somebody could have ordered a case of those, and there could have been a little bit of clumping, and they could all be sitting, in 1 or 2 spots, and nobody's actually ripped them yet.
Exactly.
Not for Bear Walker though. Bear Walker, it's very evident that there was only 5 done.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, that might also be because knowing how Bear Walker actually operates, doing 10 boards at once would have been a lot, I think.
Would have been crazy. Yeah.
So, I mean, if you look at a lot of the other collections and stuff, I mean, it seems like their average is 4 to 6, maybe. So I think you're on to something when you actually are saying that they might have split it up or something, like, because that actually makes a lot of sense, actually thinking about how that company operates, because they don't have that many people that actually work for them.
They're like hand painted as well. Like that's a lot of boards, man. That's a lot of man hours, a lot of time. I only mention it because there's a ding bell in there. Ding bell is one of the 10, and I know if that, then you would probably want that, right, Rob?
Like, oh my god, I'd love a ding bell board. Let's go. I'd actually like a ding bell board more than the Frogman board. I don't know. A sand board would probably be the best though.
It's the same thing, right? Ding bell, Sam, same, but different.
A little bit.
Yeah. And then with Seance Revive, with having that Possessora board, and that legit has a very, I mean, from what I've seen, it has a hard pull rate. I pulled Black Mass, which that card looks crazy, but
dude, it looks insane.
Yeah.
It looks, I don't think unless people have held it, you can't actually see how good it looks, because it has this tiny silver shimmer all the way around the artwork that's part of the foil that you can't really see it in a photo, but when you hold it and you're playing with it in the light, it's probably one of the best. It's probably one of the best promos I reckon I've ever done. It's crazy. It looks really, really good, especially being such a dark card. I mean, you're not really going to go give that to a kid or something, but
I don't really see kids buying Bear Walker or Revive or anything like that, though.
Yeah, it's probably more like a teenage adult thing. I suppose you're right.
Just because of the price point too. Just like, I mean, that's one of the. I'll be honest, it's one of the things that actually keeps me away from Bear Walker and Revive is the price point, because I can use that money for booster boxes and other stuff like that versus the skateboard.
Seance blister packs too. While we're on that Seance train, I think it's been great. I have absolutely loved how many Hateful Eight cards are coming out.
Yeah,
because it was, a problem that they were hard to pull, the first edition ones, right? And a lot of them are really playable cards, like a Possessor in particular. Everybody needs it. Everybody needs it like they need a Prismor. You need to have one. So it's good to see those in what is known as second edition these days, big box, they're popping out. You're hitting them, you're pulling them, so you can actually play with them. You know what I mean? And I think the value of the first edition ones will stay higher than the value of the big box ones because you
without
can't
a
pull
doubt.
the first ed one. It's so hard. You got to hit that. You got to hit that Hateful Eight box where they're all hiding to be able to pull them out.
Which it's interesting that you say that though, because I would almost argue that the big box wilderness cards, like the Wild 7, those are worth more than the wilderness cards, the Wild 7s themselves, but it's because of print run. Where with wilderness, it was 100,000 print run and big box was printed way less, to where I feel that big box was printed way more when it comes into for like Seance or anything with the 50,000 print run versus the actual and that's I don't know. I think that's interesting. I just wanted to point that out. Like it's almost reversed from what we've seen in the past.
But if you remember, go ahead.
It's good that they use the opportunity to rectify an issue that they know they had, which is obviously what's gone on with the Seance ones, because they didn't want the problem that arose, right? Mm-hmm. They didn't ask for that. It's just something that happened. So they've gone, all right, well, we're doing the second edition or the big box. Let's make sure we can get these people the cards that they actually want so they can play with them.
Well, the NFT boxes actually hit really freaking hard, though. So they rectified that issue very quickly. And I agree with you, Dean, with, because the Seance blisters, I mean, they freaking hit. I mean, you pull Curse Contracts, Possessed Auras,
that's what we pulled our secret rare from. The Brown Mountain Light, 18 out of 20, we pulled it out of a blister.
Well, that's the thing, but the difference between big box for Wilderness and big box for Seance was, I feel like, Wilderness, if you remember, certain boxes were rough, man. It was a rough set. It was hard to pull stuff, but I don't remember big box being easier to pull Wild 7s, So, but it is without a doubt that Seance big box, the Hateful Eights are way heavier. It is it is plain as day. So I have noticed that the first edition ones, a first edition Possessed Aura is still more valuable than a big box Possessed Aura, which I thought it was going to be the other way around. But I don't think I was expecting them to hit so hard either. Mm-hmm. So
I don't think anybody was, but it's good to see. I'm genuinely happy about it because it means people can actually get Possessed Auras to play the game.
Yeah,
exactly.
They're not people. Your average player isn't priced out of the market, because when that does happen, you lose players. You it's getting smaller. You want it to be able to grow. So the first ed ones will hold that collective value. The big box ones, everybody can play the game and it can continue to grow. It's the right mix. They're making the right moves, in my opinion.
Yep. Oh, that's one of the biggest things I hear from players, because I sponsor GG units, so they, and I hear a lot of the things that one of the biggest things when Native first dropped was, hey, how hard is it to pull a Fusion Aura? That was the biggest question I got from any player, anything like that. And I've been told that players want access to the playable cards. They want to be able to play. So if they would have been hard pulls, that could have been a deterrent in a sense, but I feel like MetaZoo recognizes that their player market is they really care about their player market. I mean, Dean, you can vouch for it as well. You've seen it in the chat where their main focus, you know what I mean, is yeah. So it's
100%.
the being able to pull those Possessed Auras like that. It's just I know players are
it's good.
Thank God, and so
it's all good.
Yep, it's definitely a good thing. So,
I mean, out of the 6 packs that I was able to snag, I was able to get a Chains of Old Scratch.
Bang.
So
awesome.
I feel
chuck it in your deck. It's actually a good card.
That's what I'm saying, and that's awesome because I would much rather use that one than the actual real Hateful Eight that I actually had. Now, I will say I did use my Possessed Aura at Earth Tower, but that was just because I was I have it. I'm going to use it.
You got to have it. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Did has anybody completed the tarot set?
One person. I can't remember who it was.
Was it?
Oh, they did
Was
it?
it? I think it was MetaZoo Crew.
Maybe.
Another
Maybe.
MetaZoo
Put it on
partner?
Instagram. I'm pretty sure it was them. It was either MetaZoo Crew, MetaZoo Drew, or MetaZoo Dad. It was one of
Yeah.
those three.
I remember
I feel like
seeing
it-
it though.
Well, shout out to all three.
I shared it. So shout out to all of them. But one of them finished the big box tarot set, not the OG
Yes.
tarot set. I believe the OG tarot set's the one that Andy said. If the first person to finish that,
There is somebody who did
get
finish
something.
it because somebody was trying to sell a complete
I
set
saw
of
that.
OG hollows. I can't remember what Facebook group it was. I think it might have been the Island. I don't
It was
remember.
22 hollows, wasn't it?
but yeah, it was every single one of the major
What's that worth?
Arcana. I think they had it at like 1,200 or best offer.
Yeah, it was like $1,200. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it was. Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I think honestly, I think Andy was talking about the big box one because everybody was trying to actually get the full
the big
72
box one.
set.
Right.
And so I'm interested to see what the kind of reward is for that because I know that there were at least 3 or 4 different groups of people that were really trying to pull it together to see if they could actually get the first full 72 big box hollow tarot set. Which again, like you said, hats off to it because it looked really cool from the video that I saw on Instagram.
Yeah,
That's great.
it definitely did. It definitely did.
Let me
April
see.
Fools, 30th anniversary boxes. Have you guys ripped many of them? I don't know if I've seen you rip any of those yet, Rob.
I got 4 or 5 boxes, and I think my boss bought like 4 or 5 boxes, and I ripped every single one of them. I ripped the 5 that I had on my channel and laughed so hard. We actually ripped the other ones, and we threw those into the native pre-order stuff.
Oh, that's right, you did. Yeah, I remember
But
that now.
it's just they're so funny to me, and like some of them they're just so completely useless. Like the lightning tarot or the lightning one where you can only use the aura generated from it in order to cast a tarot. Like what?
It's a joke. It's a joke.
I know, and I get it. It's just one of those. It's just like what?
What's the other one? It says the aura generated
cube.
from this
The ice
can only
cube.
be used for potions, right?
Yeah.
It's like why?
Every potion is 0. I know. I get it.
There will be. I feel like there will be an R&D loophole though. With something
hands down.
in the future. You know, like now we look at them and laugh and go, "These are worthless. These don't do anything." And then another set will come out and it'll say something, and you'll be like, "Oh shit, that's what that ice cube's for."
Well, look, I mean, my favorite thing, honestly, from it is New Year's same shenanigans, because you could potentially use that in a deck with New Year's New Beginnings, and you can, in essence, play New Year's New Beginnings, and then play that in response, and then be able to keep the cards in your hand and draw 7 new cards as well. So, there is some really interesting stuff I think you could potentially do with some of the cards. I love the idea of them being like reprints too, like Lizard Man, things like that. Like I think they're funny. But yeah, I'm interested to see in the future if any of them actually become.
What does
playable.
the back of the box say? It says you must like this product or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I have one around now. I don't have one around. Oh, I do. Yeah.
Good.
On the back of it, it actually says you must like this product. Oh no, where did Mike go?
Where'd he go?
I don't know.
He's steering this ship.
Oh.
Come back. Cito.
I kept trying to add you, and I think he kept taking you away. My bad.
My bad. I don't know what the heck just happened.
You must like
There
this
you
product, though.
Yeah. That's so
I
good.
love it. I'm
too
still
good,
curious, though, and I know this is going to go into the next thing we're going to be talking about, I think, but I'm curious. They printed these in-house, so is this like the first Mothman printing product?
That's
like,
what I've been
legit
claiming.
Product?
I've made that claim a couple times.
Like, I mean, and you actually can see the logo. It's like on the front as well, and then it's on the back as well. Like, I'm very curious if that is the first in-house product that Mothman Printing has actually made.
Well, let's jump into the NFT PFP boxes, and then we can cover Mothman Printing as a whole based on those two, because we believe NFT and PFP were the same, right?
I think so. I don't know. I haven't. To be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure about the PFP. I would imagine though, because of all the different variances and things like that, the intricacies, I guess I would use, is that the word probably I would use, that Andy had on this set, because everything there was no just blanket yeses. Everything had to be signed off on with this set. This is the most intricate thing I think MetaZoo has ever attempted. So I would imagine it was maybe in-house. I don't see the Mothman printing symbol or like logo on the box though. Oh wait, no, you can see it. Okay, all the way down at the bottom. It's kind of covered up, but all the way at the bottom, right there.
I mean,
Right
wasn't
trademark.
correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it this product where they said it was in a MetaZoo hour, and I think it was the last one, and they said maybe it was a test run for future products, right? So
Yes,
if you think about it, some of the cards were matte on the back, some were glossy. And then when you think about how many different hollow patterns were there?
there were 7 different hollow patterns.
Quite a few hollow patterns.
Yep.
You know, so if anything, I would say it would be testing your printers to see what it's capable of and what gives you the best quality. And so I mean, it's just kind of a test run with giving a product. Yeah.
They were just and they wanted to actually see which ones people liked the most. They were trying to actually see. I'm interested to know what the rarity is on them though, because like this right here, the regular star pattern seems to be the standard, if you will, the base,
like a base hollow.
Each pack came with one of these, but then you actually had the other 3 different types of hollow. What did you called this? What, camo? Is that what you were calling it, Dean?
I was calling, it looks like a digitized, because like
I was calling it glitch.
Glitch, that's what it was. Glitch. Okay.
Glitch hollow.
And you have like the random dot, the random dot one. You have the cracked ice-esque one, which is kind of cool.
So that looks more like the superfractor kind of stuff. It's like that vinyl polished sort of hollow, right?
A little, yeah. And then you had 3 different versions of the base ones like this that are slightly reflective.
Yeah.
You had the actual reflective ones, and then you had the horizontal reflective one, and then you actually had the vertical. These are the horizontal ones. So like there are 7 different hollow patterns in essence. I would say that these are probably the 3 that resemble the most. The only difference is just if there is a line and which way the line goes. But you are right though, Mike. He did actually mention something or allude to it, to where that was a test print just to see which ones people liked, which ones looked the best, this and that, in order to potentially see some of these like in the future.
Yep.
So I'd be down. I'd be down with all.
I can't wait to get some. I got a couple boxes coming, thankfully.
And shout out Andy, man. That was a PFP has been rocking, man. That's a great set. Andy, I think that was like his baby, right?
Yep.
Like he put all that together. Yep.
Yep. So yeah, huge shout out to Andy because he was the one that was completely in charge of that entire product. At the same time though, too, I gotta do a shout out to my favorite Jet, because Jet actually, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but she actually designed all of the PFPs proper, all of the elements that go with the PFPs proper before the eggs actually even hatched. So yeah, huge shout out to her. Huge shout out to Andy though, because again, this is the most intricate product I feel MetaZoo has put on the market. It's the most unique. It is the most gated, almost, I would say, as well too. Because like NFT holders or PFP or like whatever, you have access to other products and like NFT boxes, like booster boxes and other stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if you an NFT booster box versus a regular booster box is nothing more than just a booster box with an NFT sticker on it. Whereas this right here is a completely unique product that you could only get if you actually owned one of the PFPs. So super ambitious, in my opinion, like definitely edgy, amazing reception though. Again, I haven't heard one negative thing about the PFP set. I will say I am super stoked about my Froggy Boy. One of the ones out of 50, 34 out of 50. Last pack magic, by the way, mind you.
I remember that. I was watching that. We haven't seen any 1-on-1s yet, have we?
We haven't seen any 1-on-1s. We've seen a couple out of 10s. We've seen a lot of out of 100s. We also don't know though if the redeemables themselves are some of the 1-of-1s, other things like that. We don't know what any of the redeemables are. All of the redeemables.
No, they already said they said a long time ago that the topper is a guaranteed UFO or seance PFP.
Well, yes, but I also don't actually think it's just UFO and seance. I honestly, if you go back and you actually look, the original set and the original wording actually said that it was going to be Cryptid Nation Nightfall and Wilderness. And so technically, in my opinion, and I talk about this in the PFP video that I made, I think that this is UFO Seance and Hero Quest. I think we might actually see Hero Quest PFP redeemables in this. Just if it follows the three, and especially the way that they were explaining it back at the beginning, like the old roadmap and stuff, it should technically be 3 sets. So I don't know. It could be native, but I honestly really feel like it's going to be Hero Quest. Could you imagine a Hero PFP? But that's the other thing too, though, is that I don't.
That'd be all you'd put in then, because the rest of Hero Quest initially was mainly Cryptid Nation anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So if there was going to be Hero Quest PFPs, the only one you'd probably put in there would be Hero.
Maybe. Because you got to think of the other characters that they actually introduced, like Siri and other things like that in Hero Quest 2.0. On top of it, too, Hero Quest 3.0 is coming out actually next month. But supposedly Hero Quest 3.0 is coming out sometime in July, along with the Hero Quest comic.
But they did say that a lot of the beasties, a lot of the new beasties of Hero Quest 2.0, that would be their only appearance. Like they would be making no other appearance.
Okay.
That was just that. But what I wanted to ask, because I want to know both of y'all's opinion, and it kind of goes into what this viewer is saying, predictions on new NFT PFP beasties. We kind of went over that a little bit, but what do you think, or do you think there will be a difference between the toppers from the regular PFP boxes to the full token set?
No.
And how you don't? I'm with Dean on this one. I think
there will be. I reckon there will be.
I don't know. I don't think they will be, for the simple fact that we already know that the boxes are loaded differently than regular PFP boxes. The NFT or the PFPs redeemables themselves, though, I don't think that that's actually going to be any difference between the NFT holder boxes and the non-NFT boxes.
I would say I was thinking like maybe like trait rarities. You know, like you're going to have different beasties.
Based off of what I know from how the first ones were actually created, it's all random. So what I'm actually thinking what's going to happen with these is that we're going to put in a code and it's going to give us another egg like we had last time. And then after a certain amount of time, it's going to hatch. And then the base beastie itself, yes, but the color, if it has horns, the eye color, the mouth color, the extra elements and all that stuff, all of that was literally randomly digitized when they were created, when they actually hatched. So I don't think those codes are prefabricated PFPs. I think they're literally base codes that the elements are going to actually be loaded onto once you redeem it, once it hatches.
Have you actually scratched one yet?
No, I haven't.
I haven't either.
I think they just peel off like the Bear Walker stuff now. It looks like they've gone to a peel as opposed to a scratch off.
Okay.
But yeah, that's how the first PFPs worked, is that they were all in eggs, and then when they hatched, they were hatched with the algorithm used whatever in order to assign elements to it. They didn't have elements assigned to them when they were actually in the egg. So I don't think that the NFT holder boxes are going to be that different. I think now when it comes to the actual packs, yes, I do think that they are loaded. And to be honest with you, I said this in my live stream, I'm not upset that they're loaded differently than the non-NFT token boxes, because first off,
They should be.
They should be.
There's got to be some sort of difference if you've got you've got the whole token set.
Exactly.
That's a major difference.
Yeah. I mean, think of the amount of money, the amount of time, the investment, everything they put into actually owning every single one of the tokens. Please reward them, because without the full token holders, the whole NFT MetaZoo market wouldn't be what it is. So no, please reward them. I am completely okay with their boxes being loaded. Because again, out of the 4 that I actually bought before, I got a ton of really awesome cards, and on top of it, I was lucky enough to get one of the out of 50s. So it isn't impossible to get them. I mean, most of the people that I know that have bought multiple boxes, we're talking like 4 to 6 boxes, got some sort of a serialized card in them. So they're not like super rare. I would appreciate if some of the non-NFT boxes had the opportunity to get maybe one of the one-of-ones or something like that. But I completely get NFT token holders actually getting better boxes in essence. And if anything, that should drive more people to get full token sets in order to be rewarded for those type of things. So I'm completely okay with it, and I don't care.
And if anybody's watching that does not own a token, they're extremely cheap right now. You don't have to buy a super expensive one. If you guys ever need help, like if you guys want to learn about, if you're not really into the crypto or in the NFT space and things like that, you can reach out to me, Rob, or Dean, and there's a lot of people in the community. But right now is probably the time to buy a token, because they're the cheapest they've ever been, and the extra perks that come with it are definitely worth it. So exclusive
second or third time you utilize
like
the token, it pays for itself from that point forward.
Yep. It's it's worth it. So
that then brings us to Mothman printing as a whole.
Can't wait to see where it comes or where it goes.
It's gonna be, I reckon either 7 Seas or Yokai Island base set will be printed in the US from then on.
I don't know. I don't know about that, to be honest with you, just because of the size and scope of those sets. Yokai also too is going to be the first set that is actually printed in both English and Japanese, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So I do see MetaZoo eventually taking all of their printing over and printing in-house completely, but I don't see that fully being a transition until well into Yokai, because they're going to have to, at that point, they're going to have to print in 2 different languages, and that is a lot of infrastructure to have at once. I can totally see them doing all of the subsets and everything like that from now on. I can totally see them doing I would say they could potentially do 7 Seas, but the international printing of Yokai, I think, is going to be a lot.
And real quick, I did see a question that came in. Matt said, "What's the price on OpenSea at the moment for a cheap token?" I just pulled it up. The floor price is 0.15 Ethereum, which that translates to $271.69 US dollars.
US.
And so that's for a token, or not for a PFP.
That is a token. That is a, if I can kind of see it. There you go. That's an actual token, much different than the PFP. So PFP will not give you access to the NFT drops. It was only specific for the PFP drop. But sorry to backtrack there, but I wanted to throw that information out there. So
Matt asked, wouldn't printing in-house in America make production costs skyrocket and make cards cost more? Not necessarily. It depends on the quality of the cards, depends on the card stock that they actually use, how big their operation is, what type of equipment they have. It actually honestly might save them some money because they don't actually have to get everything printed and then shipped over to the continental United States. It would already be here in the United States. It's just like that is a lot of infrastructure, like specifically going into international sets like Yokai with Japanese and English. That's a lot of infrastructure that they would actually need. I'm not saying MetaZoo can't do it, because 100% I believe in the company and I believe that they can actually make that happen if that is where they want to go. I just see from the progression that I've seen over the last couple of months with Mothman Printing, what they're trying to do, the PFP boxes, the 30th reprint anniversary stuff. Like I don't know if they want to ramp up that quickly themselves.
And that's the other thing too, is it may cost a little more initially, but in the long run, it'll end up being way cheaper.
Mm-hmm. And I mean,
that's probably why they're doing what they're doing now. Like you said, they're testing it out on these sets where we assume April Fool's was probably a 5,000 box print run based on what others were in the past. And then PFP, they said, was 10,000. So, they're testing it anyway, testing their print until they get there. They'll get there eventually. But yeah, it would be cheaper in the long run for them to do it there if they've got the right infrastructure around them to actually do it.
And Matt makes a good point too, though, because he says Pokemon prints Japanese and English sets in different countries and different factories, and that makes sense to where if they can perfect Mothman printing here in the U.S., they can then replicate that over somewhere in Asia in order to come out with Yokai. The big thing would have to be, though, they can't have two different sets of like quality. It has to be even across the board if it's two different.
Well, that's not the same with Pokemon though.
Yeah,
Pokemon Japanese sets are immaculate, and then English has all the QC issues and all those problems.
Yeah, but the thing
that's pretty standard with any TCG that's printed in two languages in two different countries, because what you're saying is almost impossible to do. To have a factory in China or Japan print the exact same quality in the US, you'd think it would be easy, but it's not easy because they're just printing. You need the QC to oversee both.
I would agree with you up until Scarlet and Violet, because Scarlet and Violet coming out and them going more uniformly to the way it looks in Japan versus the English traditional sets. There is a very, like, they're almost even right now between the Scarlet and Violet versus the Japanese stuff.
I don't know. I can't comment because I haven't opened any. I know
that was the big thing before, and I would completely agree with you. Is that English?
But that was so they look the same. The quality still
is because they were completely like they looked different. They had the different colors and everything. They were different card stocks, and I honestly feel like the Japanese stuff now and the English stuff now, Scarlet and Violet block only, is same card quality. Pretty much almost looks the same.
Oh, Cena's gone again. See ya. See ya, bro.
He got mad.
He's out.
He got mad. He's like, you don't be talking bad about Scarlet and Violet.
What's all this Pokemon? He's gone.
So, but I mean, if they actually don't have the same card stock and they don't actually have the same sort of stuff like that, I actually can see how it would. I don't know. I could see how MetaZoo would be able to actually get the same quality, even though it's two different factories, if they use like the same materials and other things like that.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be Yokai is going to be interesting. Printing in English and any other language, you're basically doing double the work, double the risk, double everything. So, they're not going to be sending English sets to Japan. They're printing them in Japanese to send them to Japan, because we know the Japanese are Japanese. Like, even in Japan, there's not much English anywhere. Everything is in Japanese. They're like, hey, we're Japanese. We don't want to put English shit everywhere. We're Japanese.
Right.
It's the way they roll. That's why, they get their own sets and stuff. But if they get their Japanese version of the set and it blows up, well, then we're all right. Happy days.
I just don't ever see MetaZoo doing the same thing as Pokemon though, where it's like they break up the sets or they make it a different set versus what's in English. Like I always see the English.
Yeah,
and
no, I agree.
Always being consistent. They're always being the same thing.
I agree.
Okay.
It won't be like how in Pokemon they break it up into a couple of sets and do different promos and stuff for different sets. I reckon it'll be
here,
the
but then
exact same.
Yeah.
Yeah, same SKUs, same cards, same set lists, English, Japanese. That's it. I agree. I reckon that's what it'll be. But it'll be cool to see.
Yeah, I can't wait. But yeah, I do agree though. I think that they actually have been using the last couple test sets as basically testers to see exactly what works, what doesn't work, what's easy, what's going to be less cost effective and stuff like that. And it's smart that they're actually taking the opportunity to do that now before they actually have to ramp up in preparation for like Yokai 7Cs. SCP is going to be huge. Like that's the other thing too. SCP is probably going to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest set that they put out. Yeah. Just because of the wide-reaching effects that SCP would have. So,
yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be. I don't know too much about it, but when I do talk to people from other TCGs and I ever mention SCP, they're like, "Wait, what?" They're like, "Doing what?"
Yeah.
And they start to get excited. And they're like, "When is that?" I'm like, "It's Q3-4." So don't worry about it just yet. I'll come back to you when it's coming, but. That will be pretty crazy. I mean, we've got Hero Quest 3.0 and War before then anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And the fan art.
Yeah. We'll see when the fan art actually, I don't see the fan art actually getting printed and shipped out though until towards the end of the year, maybe.
No.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't think that.
There's been, Sino, you and I would know, there's been other dates stipulated, but
okay, never mind. We'll skip that. We ain't talking about that. We're gonna go.
That is going to be June recap anyway. So
okay.
The tour bus. I'm so jealous about this tour bus. Now that Andy put it out today, in that announcement, like it's ready to go, it's ready to rock. I was like, oh man, you just chuck it on like a Boeing 373 or whatever they are and fly it over here to Australia so we can enjoy it. I'll drive it around Australia. Send it down here, and I'll take a month off, and I'll do it.
Talk about the bus.
I'll cruise around. Yeah, the tour bus. Yeah,
right. I was like, all right, you have to stop by a Super Galactic. You got to come by. I'll show you the beach. Start on the East Coast. Let's go. Set it up in the parking lot. We'll just take it over. We'll park it in front of Papa John's.
It sounds like that's what they're going to do. Like drive it around to partner LGSs, partner stores, LGSs. Probably events. You probably see them, might even be outside of like Collecticon events or other smaller events, things like that. It's a good idea. It's a good concept. I wonder who is going to be like the driver. Like they're going to say like Emilio or Logan, this is your job now. Push them in. Or even like Texas Ted be like, you're the van driver. You've now just got to drive this thing around the US. Like, I wonder who it's going to be. I wonder who gets that gig.
Hey, I offered up to Andy to let me go around with him this summer, and he said no, that the bed was too small for him and Mike. Yeah, that we need a third buddy person in the bed. I was like, okay, fine, fair. I mean, I'll sleep on the floor, but that's fine, whatever.
Yeah, just take a tent, pull up, set a tent up.
I'll just sleep in the van, man. What are you talking about?
So that'll be cool. They said there'll be like exclusive promos and stuff to, actually pick up or grab or, it's going to be interesting to see sort of what they do with it. I think it's a great idea. I love it. I think it's cool.
I'm interested to see if it's going to have anything to do with the neutral tower too, or if the neutral tower is going to be completely separate and this is like a trial run for the neutral tower, because it's the neutral tower is the roaming tower, so it will have.
I'm hoping.
I feel like we'll have more events than the regular towers, basically just because of it having the ability to be able to roam around.
I hope the idea of the roaming tower, though, is that it's like on the TCG client. There needs to be one on there so that everybody else can actually, get involved. Like us down here. We love to be able to play in towers, but it's a $6,000 to $7,000 round trip every time we want to come over to the US, right? It ain't cheap.
You better win.
Yeah, if I ain't winning, it's an expensive exercise. But jumping on, to when we used to use TTS and now the upcoming TCG client, it'd be phenomenal. It'd be really, really good. So hopefully that ends up being the neutral tower and not the tour bus. I'm hoping the tour bus, it's just Mike and Andy going on a road trip, a couple of pina coladas, handing out promos, just having a real good time.
Hey.
Like, there's so many movies we could refer to right now, but I don't want to pick one in case we upset somebody.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I mean, and it kind of goes off what we were talking about last year. They were talking last year about the whole LGS tour across the country. So I'm glad that that's actually finally moving forward, because that type of exposure, the ground root stuff that they actually do at the LGSs at these events, is what really, in my opinion, is going to grow the game. Especially the player base, other stuff like that, fans of it. It's a great way for them to actually talk about the book. It's a great way for them to actually talk about the animated shorts. And there's something special actually about the actual, I don't know. You might not get this, Dean. But like, for example, Mike, you remember when the Oscar Mayer Wiener mobile would show up? How excited!
Why do I know that
as a
song?
kid?
Why do I know like Oscar Mayer Wiener? Why do I know that song? Well, that's like stuck in my head. What is that?
Like,
On The Simpsons or something?
Yeah, it used to be the commercial song. But I was just kind of like, as a kid though, and you saw the Oscar Mayer Wiener mobile actually show up, you used to get really excited. You get the little whistles and things like that. So I don't know. It's I kind of like I don't know. It was a weird analogy, but
you think it's gonna be something like that? Cool. We'll have to wait and see. We will have to wait and see.
Yeah, I would think. Yeah, I would think that the neutral tower would be from the online client. I mean, it kind of only makes sense to me.
I think so. I'm going to keep saying it, so it has to be. So that
right.
I'll just keep putting it out there. Be like, no. The neutral tower is on the TCG client. It is. It is.
Matter of fact, yes. Yeah.
It'll happen. So we can jump in and play and get around. Jeff, hot dogs, man. I'm so hungry. I'm going to go get some hot dogs now. Well, we've almost recapped the whole month. We've only got a few extra bits that we added in right on the end, and I think you're probably the man to take us through the short titles, Rob.
Oh, yes. All right. So the last MetaZoo hour, Mike actually, very briefly, we're talking 3-5 seconds at most, showed us actually the document with all of the names for the animated shorts. I was lucky enough to actually take a shot of it, so I was able to actually see them. It doesn't give us any sort of real information exactly what all of them are like exactly about, but we do have at least working titles now. There are 8 in total, which they've actually been talking about the last couple months. The actual shorts themselves, though, are going to be, in my opinion, focused more on specific beasties. I keep using the example of, if you're familiar with when Overwatch first came out, Overwatch did a bunch of little short videos explaining some backstory on some of their characters in the game. I kind of feel these are going to be very similar, 5 to 8, maybe 10 minutes at most. Probably 5 to 8 minutes long each, though, is what I'm assuming. And they're each going to be focused on a specific beastie. Now we have some really cool ones that they've actually and these are again working titles. This could be completely a rabbit hole Mike threw out there, so they can completely change it up when they come out in August. So take this with a grain of salt. But so far we have Walking Sam, which I'm assuming is just going to be some sort of short story about Walking Sam, explaining what type of cryptid or beastie he is. Babe the Blue Ox, which might give us some sort of backstory on Babe, Paul Bunyan, or maybe even introduced Ben B. I'm not sure. The next one is Hodag, so it'll be some sort of story about Hodag. Next is one that was a little harder to actually try to translate, figure out what it said, but I believe it's Operation Oklahoma Lake, which is most likely going to actually be about the Oklahoma octopus. They do make a mention of the Oklahoma octopus in chapter 1, about how you could get fried Oklahoma octopus tentacles on a stick in Unity City. So we don't know also the time period that these shorts take place in. These shorts could be in 2031. They could be in 2021 after the veil shattered, like directly after the veil shattered. That could be smack dab in the middle, 2026. Like we don't know what time period these videos actually take place in. These videos could also, these shorts could take place before the veil was even put in place to begin with. The next one on the list is Pysaw Bird, and it said with special appearance of Sinkhole Sam and I believe Snipe, which is kind of cool. The next one is
love a goofy snipe.
Oh my god! The next one is the Beast of Busco, which of course is the big old snapping turtle. And then the last two I'm really excited about. The second to last one is the Flatwoods Monster, and then the number 8 one is Mothman. So they're saving two of the biggest beasties for the last two animated shorts. It's also interesting to notice too that every single one of them that I just mentioned, except for Oklahoma Lake, is from Cryptid Nation proper, which is kind of cool. So
that's Frogman.
The only reason why I think Oklahoma Lake works is because of the reference in the comic to the Oklahoma octopus tentacles on a stick. Because every other single one of those beasties, you except for Snipe. No, Snipe is actually found in Wilderness. So I take that back. Actually, I take that back completely. Snipe is definitely in Wilderness. But all of the main ones like Walking Sam, Babe, Hodag, they're all mostly from Cryptid Nation, which is kind of cool. Frogman isn't going to be in those, I don't think, or at least isn't going to be like featured like the other ones are, like Hodag and stuff like that, because Love is one of the main characters in the central storyline. Love is the one that teaches Sam, and I don't know if these are going to be to try to pitch the full show to a network, or if these are going to be, I'm looking at these more as being like backstory to add to the world, to the universe. So the book will actually be the storyline proper of Love and Sam and Indrid and M. These are more to add to that universe in order to, and I honestly, in my opinion, I feel like that's to get a studio to pick up the show in order to make the full-fledged storyline. It's in the book into an actual animated show. Well, that's kind of my theory, I think.
Well, you said that in chapter 1 they make a reference to Oklahoma Lake?
Yeah. When Sam is in, when Sam gets pushed, is it chapter 1 or is it chapter 2? It's chapter 2, actually. I take that back. It's right at the beginning of chapter 2 when Sam gets to Unity City after M pushed him through the pathways. After he realizes that Mothman was attacking other cities, he's walking around, and that's when he actually just casually mentions the Oklahoma octopus on a stick cart.
Well, because I was gonna say that I hope they show like obviously if it's just clips, and that's still gonna be freaking amazing regardless. I can't wait to see it. But I hope that they have like, I would guess like kind of like a draft or kind of a like an intro to the show, like kind of like the opener that would be play at the beginning of every new episode.
I honestly think that they would hold off on showing that until it was the show proper.
But that's why I asked about the Oklahoma Lake thing, because with it being labeled that, and you said it was in chapter 1, I was like, I was gonna say maybe that's what that is then, but if it's in chapter 2, I don't think that would kind of.
Yeah, it's right at the beginning of chapter 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we just got to wait to SDCC to find out, don't we?
And when is that again?
We can speculate all we want, or have Rob speculate all we want, but we're going to find out.
We've got Collecticon dates, Comic-Con dates, Tower dates, so all the dates get so mixed up for me. When is San Diego Comic-Con again?
San Diego Comic-Con is the 3rd week, I believe, in July.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I believe it's the 3rd week in July.
Next month, then?
Yep.
Because I know that maybe I'll go to San Diego. I love San Diego.
The week before.
I've been to San Diego a couple times. That is a place I can get around.
Woo.
It's good down there. Oh, MetaZoo Black Market. What
Hey,
about
shout out
that?
MetaZoo
Lindy
Black
Games
Market,
is here
man.
too.
I love your content, bro. Your sample set is
Yeah, bro.
crazy. And shout out
Yeah.
to Lindy as well.
I was actually chatting to MetaZoo Black Market the other day. I was like, bro, don't stop rolling out those reels. Loving it.
Oh man, yeah. I need some tips, man. But
now, Lindy, we're talking about San Diego Comic-Con, bro.
yeah, San Diego.
San Diego.
Oh God. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can. That's all I have right now for the shorts because they've done a really good job of not really actually giving out much information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about these water tower pins you mentioned? What's the go with that? I don't even know what they are.
The water tower pins, they went up for sale about 2-3 weeks ago, I think, and they just started shipping last week or end of last week.
So how did you get a water tower pin? They just like did a drop, or did you have to be
Dropped
the water
on the
tower? Or
yeah, they didn't actually have like with the Earth Tower. They actually had the pins for sale at Earth Tower, the pink mess tin, and then
right.
for Water Tower, I guess they didn't have them in time for the tower, and so they actually dropped those about a month ago, I think, on the marketplace, and they're all out of 200.
Right, cool. Sweet.
I got some on the way.
I got 2. They should be here hopefully Wednesday.
I need the Earth Tower one too.
Yeah, I only have the one. I can't help you. I'm sorry, man. I got to figure out how to get all my Flame Tower stuff.
I need the pins.
Must be like an American thing. It's not like I don't really collect or wear pins or anything like that down here.
You too good for the pins? Is that what you're saying, dude?
I don't know where to put them. I got nowhere to. They're all in like a box. The pins
all of mine are in a box too. Well, no, that's true.
I like the idea of the Seance pin club being the keychains.
Yeah,
I was like, that's.
I want the keychains. Where are the keychains?
Yeah, let's
not keychains.
Let's dive into that one. Yeah, they should be coming soon though. You got some coming soon, don't you?
I hope so.
I do.
Yep.
I believe they said it actually should be coming soon.
Yeah, I feel like it should be. I feel like it should be soon. It should be real soon.
By the end of this month, I believe they said something like that. I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Dean, I'm only buying you pins from now on.
That's all you're getting for Christmas now.
Yeah, pins, dude.
Yeah, it worked perfectly. Reverse psychology. I love pins. I wear them all the time. Can't wait. You.
He said, "Wear them on your blouses." I love it.
Sweet. Well, that wasn't too bad. It only took 2 hours to cover 1 month.
Yeah, right.
Hey, I feel like we did a pretty good job though too.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I think so. I think everything's there. So if people want to come back, to go over it, they can.
And
June's going to be pretty interesting. There's a bit going on.
Oh yeah,
no, Matt, that's not true at all.
Oh my god.
No, that was an update I got from. I messaged support and asked for an update on product, and that's the message I got back from support. So
yeah. No, that what Matt said is actually more relevant to fan art as
to the
opposed
fan art
to
stuff. Yeah,
the seance stuff.
So
who knows? We'll see. All right, you guys should probably go to bed, shouldn't you? Like it's only
about 11:10 over here.
Past 1.
This guy stays up so late.
Hey, I gotta finish editing. I gotta finish editing that second language in UFO video tonight, so I can get it out tomorrow.
Timeline video.
Timeline video will honestly be at least a solid 2 weeks. Just because I have to get this done.
Any longer than 2 weeks?
Well, okay, I have to finish this one. This is the second language in UFO. I need to finish the baby that Grim Reaper is actually holding. And there's one more that I can't really talk about because it'd give too much away. And once I make those 3, as far as I'm aware, I should be able to do timeline. The problem is every time I sit down and do the timeline, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I need to explain this first. And that's why it's taken me 4 months now to actually get to where I am. It's because it takes me forever. Because I'm like,
you just want to make sure you get the timeline out before
The book,
Either
100%.
shorts or
That is my
book
goal.
as well.
I need to get it out
Like-
before the book because I want to be able to sit back and actually be like, oh, that's what I got wrong. All of it. Awesome.
That was actually funny by Compton. I had a bit of a chuckle when I saw that because we're all
Yeah.
wearing caps.
That's what I said. From now on, we're all gonna have to wear hats
Oh my
every
God.
time we do one of these now.
Yeah, I'll have to get some made up. I'll get some recap caps made.
The recap caps get out. Oh God.
Too good.
But yeah, no, like I appreciate you both actually hanging out here talking about this last month. Everybody in the chat actually as well too. Great questions, great feedback, other things like that. I think we're gonna have it might even be longer actually in June. We're gonna have a lot to talk about from this month. Towards the end of it, there's a lot of stuff actually happening this month. But yeah, I can't think of anything else. I am capped.
Yep.
I'm capped. That is cap.
That's cap, man.
Isn't that something you guys say over there? That's cap. That's capping.
I
He's
don't
capping.
say that. That's
He's
like,
capping, bro.
No cap.
That's an age
Cap, no cap.
demographic
Play.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I see it on like TikTok or whatever. I'm like, the hell? What's he talking about? He's capping.
Means we're
He's
getting
not,
old.
no cap.
That's what
Capping.
it means. It means we're getting old.
Yeah. Cool. We'll take it.
Can't figure out the new lingo.
The recap. But yeah, sweet. Happy days. We got it done. Now just to do one every other month for the rest of our lives.
Hey.
We were going to be doing this last week, but since Memorial Day hit, we kind of pushed it a week out so that way we could reflect on the MetaZoo for today instead. But thanks to everybody that hung out. We got Matt, we got Lindy in here. Compton George has been here like the whole time. Wayward Caster's been here the whole time. Grendel, killer. Grendel was coming back with a lot of answers on things.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Thank you for teaching me about the Canadians.
Yes, that was actually a cool little thing. So,
Cino and I will actually be back next Monday at 9. We have another interview lined up. I'm confident I know actually who it is. Like, I mean, of course I know who it is. I'm the one that invited them. But we're in the process right now of making sure that everything is kosher. It will hopefully be one of the MetaZoo staff members. But we have a couple other people lined up later this month as well. So definitely stick around. Mondays, Let's Talk MetaZoo is full steam ahead. And y'all are amazing. Thank you guys so much for jumping in, hanging out with us. Anybody that has a question that watches this after we're live, leave a comment in the comment section and I will answer it to the best of my ability. But Matt or Dean, thank you so much for coming in, hanging out with us here. I'm excited to actually do this once a month now with you. It's
It'll
nice
be fun,
to get
man.
your perspective. It's nice to actually get Mike's perspective on this. This is stuff that, especially now with not that many people actually covering the MetaZoo news, it's kind of nice to actually have this recap at the end of each month now in order to have something to go back to actually look to actually see exactly what took place. So I appreciate the time 100%. You guys both jumped in here to actually give us for this because yes. But
all right.
Yeah, everyone have a wonderful evening. Thanks again, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
See you next Monday.
Peace.